The news hit the internet like a rolling storm. People were still trying to understand what they had seen when whispers turned into full conversations. Across fan pages and group chats, a DNA test result that no one expected had stirred up a fire that would not die down. It was the kind of moment that forced even casual viewers to sit up and follow every update. For the first time in months, the entire world of viewers who followed these lives felt as if they were watching something shift in real time. The story began with a single leaked screenshot. It showed lab results with Mendeecees' name and a line that confirmed paternity without any room for doubt. At first, a few fans wondered if it might be a trick or a rumor started for attention. Yet within minutes, the screenshot spread, and more pages joined the conversation. Soon, it became clear that this was no speculation. This was something that changed the entire balance between Yandy, Erica, and Mendeecees. It was a revelation that created a shockwave through a community already filled with old tensions and long memories. Stories had circulated for weeks about a quiet test and hushed conversations between people close to the family. No one expected the truth to land like this. The reactions were immediate. Supporters of Yandy were stunned. Erica's fans demanded answers. Longtime watchers who remembered every past argument began stitching old moments together and guessing what would happen next. The families had faced conflict before, but nothing prepared them for this. It was a moment that exposed past hurt and stirred emotions that had never healed. Then came the part no one saw coming. According to several witnesses, Yandy confronted Erica the moment she learned the results were real. It was not a calm conversation. Voices rose. A table shifted. The hallway where they stood turned tense as people stepped back. Someone said Yandy moved toward Erica with such fury in her eyes that even the bystanders felt a chill. It was more than anger. It was a sense of betrayal that seemed to come from years of buried strain. The room grew louder as Erica shouted back, insisting she had nothing to hide. Every word carried the weight of countless old arguments. People nearby tried to separate them, but emotions had already taken over. Every second of that confrontation felt like a scene building toward something that could not be stopped. The tension hung in the air, like heat before a storm. Even those who usually stayed quiet could feel the shock of what they were witnessing. Fans later said it looked like two worlds colliding, shaped by pride, loyalty, and long history. And all of it came from one test, one truth that no one was prepared to face. Viewers could not turn away, because this was only the beginning. The hallway outside the studio felt strangely quiet at first, as if the building itself sensed what was coming. People who worked there moved with the usual pace of a long day, unaware that within minutes the calm would split open. The DNA result had already begun to spread through messages and whispered conversations, though no one had dared to repeat it too loudly. Yet the moment Yandy arrived, the entire place seemed to shift. She did not shout. She did not rush. She walked with a steady pace that showed she had already decided what she was going to do. Those who noticed her expression stepped aside, because there was something in her eyes that sent a clear warning. Everything she felt, everything she had held back, was rising. The truth that had been kept from her had taken shape, and she was ready to face it. Mendeecees followed behind her with a worried look. He tried to keep up, but Yandy moved with a purpose that left no room for conversation. She had spent the morning trying to understand what she had seen. She had replayed every word, every rumor, every distant look she had noticed over the past months. The result was not a gentle surprise. It was a truth that cut deep. She had been told to ignore the whispers, yet the whispers had been right. When she stepped into the hallway, all she wanted was clarity, and she wanted it now. Erica was already inside the dressing room with two stylists. She had heard nothing yet. She was focused on her hair and talking about a shoot scheduled for next week. There was no sign that she expected the door to open with force. The handle turned suddenly, and the room fell silent when Yandy walked in. One stylist dropped a brush. Another stepped back. The air tightened in a second. Erica turned, confused at first, then cautious as she took in Yandy's expression. Erica tried to speak, but Yandy lifted her hand slightly, asking for silence without using a word. The tension grew heavier. Mendeecees arrived at the doorway moments later, breathing a little faster, trying to catch up and defuse what he knew might explode. He stepped inside, hoping to say something that would calm the situation, but Yandy did not look at him. She kept her eyes locked on Erica, and the quiet stretched until it felt painful. When Yandy finally spoke, her voice carried a calm sharpness that cut through the air. She asked Erica whether she had known. No shouting, no accusations, just a question placed with precision. Erica blinked, unsure of what she meant. She asked what Yandy was talking about, but her voice trembled slightly, giving away her unease. Yandy repeated the question, this time clearer. The DNA test. The result? The truth that had just come out. Did Erica know? Erica's eyes narrowed for a moment, as if she was searching her memory, trying to calculate how much Yandy really understood. She stepped closer and asked who told her. The room felt smaller. The stylists rushed out, closing the door behind them. It was now just the three of them, standing in a triangle of rising anger. Yandy felt her chest tighten. She had expected denial, maybe surprise, but she did not expect Erica to question her instead of answering. That simple reaction fueled the fire building inside her. She asked again, this time with an edge. Did Erica know about the test? Had she known what the answer would be? Had she kept it to herself while everyone else was left guessing? Erica finally spoke with frustration. She said she did not owe Yandy explanations. She said the test was not her decision. She said the result was out and nothing could change it now. The words hit Yandy harder than the truth itself. They carried a coldness that she had not prepared for. The conversation she had imagined was gone, replaced by something raw and unfiltered. Yandy took a step closer. Her voice grew stronger. She talked about trust, about respect, about the years of tension that had stretched between them. She reminded Erica of every moment she had been blamed, every rumor that had pointed fingers at her for things she never did. While she spoke, Erica folded her arms across her chest, holding her ground with a defiant stare. Mendeecees watched from the side, knowing he should intervene but not knowing how. This was not just a misunderstanding. It was old history resurfacing, shaped by pride, hurt, and hidden truths. Erica finally snapped back, raising her voice as she asked why Yandy acted as if the world revolved around her. She said the result was not meant to be a weapon. She said she had dealt with her own struggles without turning them into a spectacle. She said she refused to let Yandy make her feel guilty for something she could not control. Her words landed sharply, and Mendeecees winced, knowing that Erica had just pushed the wrong button. Yandy stepped forward so quickly that even Erica looked startled. Her voice rose for the first time. She asked, not believe her. She said Erica always acted as if she moved without consequences. She said Erica always created storms and pretended she was caught in the rain. The words cut deep, and Erica's expression hardened again. The argument rose so fast that Mendeecees struggled to keep up. They pointed fingers. They shouted over one another. The room filled with years of unspoken frustration. The sound carried through the hallway, and people passing outside paused to listen. Everyone knew something explosive had begun. Then Erica said something that made Yandy stop in her tracks. She said the result was not even the real problem. She said there were things Yandy did not know, things that would change more than just this test, things she had kept quiet to protect herself and her child. It was the first hint of another truth hiding under the surface, and the moment she said it, the room fell silent again. Even Mendeecees looked at her with confusion. Yandy stared at her, her breathing heavy. She asked Erica what she meant. Erica hesitated. She looked at the floor. She looked at the wall. She looked at Mendeecees, and then, slowly, she looked back at Yandy. She opened her mouth, ready to speak. And just as the first word formed, the door handle began to turn from the outside. Someone was about to walk in. That moment, suspended in uncertainty, held all three of them in place. One truth had shaken the day, but now another truth stood waiting. More dangerous, more personal, and more explosive than the first. And before Erica could finish, the door opened fully, pulling every eye toward it as the next twist stepped into the room. The person who stepped inside was someone no one expected. It was a close friend of Yandy, someone who had seen pieces of the puzzle unfold long before the public did. The moment they entered, the tension shifted again. Their eyes scanned the room quickly, landing on each of the three with a calculated glance. They knew the atmosphere was charged, and they knew their words could either calm it or ignite it further. They chose the latter. You all need to hear this, they said, their voice steady but heavy with urgency. The test isn't the only thing that matters here. Yandy's eyes narrowed, her anger momentarily mingling with curiosity. Erica's gaze sharpened. Mendeecees looked like he wished the floor would open up and swallow him whole. The room seemed to shrink around the weight of the words. The friend walked closer, each step deliberate, as if the floor itself had become a stage for the next revelation. They explained that there had been conversations behind the scenes, private messages, even meetings that no one had known about. Apparently, someone had tried to manipulate the situation, to twist the test result into a weapon against Yandy. It was a claim that sounded almost unbelievable, yet the conviction in the friend's voice made it feel true. Yandy's hand twitched, her fingers curling slightly. She could feel the old hurt bubbling back up, mixed now with a fresh layer of confusion and betrayal. Erica responded quickly, defensive as ever. What are you talking about? Who would do that? And why bring me into this? Her tone was a mixture of fear and outrage. The room shifted again. Mendeecees stepped forward, trying to mediate, but every time he opened his mouth, Yandy interrupted, her eyes blazing. "You see, Erica, this isn't about just one lie or one secret anymore," Yandy said. "It's about every shadow that's been cast over the truth. Every manipulation, every half-story, and every time I've been left guessing while someone else played the game behind my back." She took a deep breath, her chest rising and falling rapidly. "And now that the DNA result is out, everything comes into focus. It's all connected. You, me, Mendeecees, everyone. It's a web. And I am done pretending I don't see it." Erica's lips pressed into a thin line. She tried to deny it, to shift the blame, but her words lacked conviction. The room felt heavy with unspoken truths. Mendeecees ran his hands through his hair, the tension finally taking a toll on him. "Yandy, can we just?" he began, but Yandy cut him off, her voice rising above the anxiety in the room. "No, Mendeecees, not now. You think you can stop this with words? You think the truth can be softened with your pleas? The DNA result changed everything. Yes, but it didn't create the storm. The storm has always been here. It just waited for the right moment." Her eyes locked on Erica again, unflinching. "And now, Erica, I want the full story. Everything you've hidden. Everything you've kept quiet. I want it out. Do you understand me?" Erica shifted uncomfortably, her gaze darting to the floor and back. Her voice came out in a low, defensive tone. "You think I've done something on purpose? You think I've been sitting around plotting against you? I've been trying to survive this, like everyone else. If anything, I've been cornered, and now it feels like I'm the villain because the world loves to pick sides." The words, though meant to protect her, only added fuel to Yandy's fury. Yandy's expression hardened. "Survive? Is that what you call it? Erica, for months, I've been questioning everything. Every look, every word, every rumor. And now it turns out, the one truth I wanted first, the one truth that could have stopped all of this before it escalated, is in your hands. And you never said a word." Her voice cracked slightly with emotion. "Do you have any idea what it's like to live in that uncertainty?" Mendeecees moved closer again, his voice finally finding strength. "Both of you, stop, please. The shouting, the blame, it's not helping. We need to sit and talk. Now. We can't keep doing this." But Yandy shook her head, stepping back just enough to make it clear she was not ready to calm down. Her fury had a rhythm, a beat, and it refused to be interrupted. Then, out of nowhere, a new layer of chaos entered. A phone vibrated sharply on the dressing table, and Erica reached for it reluctantly. The screen lit up with a message that made her freeze. Her hand trembled as she read it. Yandy noticed immediately, her curiosity sharpening to a blade. "What is it?" she demanded. Erica looked at her, a mixture of fear and guilt flashing across her face. "It's nothing. It's just someone checking in. Don't worry about it," she stammered. But Yandy was not convinced. "Don't worry about it," Yandy echoed, her voice low and dangerous. "You don't get to tell me not to worry about anything right now. If there's a single thing you've kept from me, now is the time to speak. Now." The room held its breath. Mendeecees glanced between them, realizing this confrontation had escalated beyond control. He could feel the fans' eyes imagining every scene, every word that would later be dissected online. And he knew this moment would become a memory none of them could escape. Erica finally sighed, her shoulders slumping slightly. "Fine," she said. "If you really want the truth, it's not just about the DNA. There have been other things. Messages, calls, assumptions. People have been manipulating situations. I didn't want to be part of it, but I was pulled in. I didn't know how to get out." The confession hung in the air, heavy and unavoidable. Yandy's eyes narrowed, trying to parse every word. Her mind raced, connecting threads that had been invisible until now. "Pulled in?" Yandy asked, her voice almost a whisper but sharp enough to sting. "You were pulled in, but you let it happen. You let it grow until it exploded. How do you justify that?" Erica's response was quiet, almost inaudible. "I was scared. Scared of what would happen if I spoke. Scared of being blamed. Scared of losing." She paused, her voice cracking. "I didn't want anyone to get hurt." The room was silent for a long moment. Even Mendeecees held his breath. Yandy's hand dropped to her side, trembling slightly. She had expected anger, perhaps tears, but not hesitation. Not this mixture of guilt, fear, and remorse that made her want to scream and hug at the same time. She felt the weight of every whispered rumor, every subtle glance, every public comment, and it all pressed down on her chest. The DNA test had been the spark. But this revelation, the confession, was the fire spreading through everything she had built, everything she had defended. The friend who had entered earlier stepped closer, breaking the tension, but in doing so only intensified it. They reminded Yandy of the network of friends, family, and fans who had been watching, commenting, guessing. They spoke of the messages flooding social media, the debates breaking out online, and the ways every minor detail had been dissected. "This isn't just about you in this room," they said. "It's bigger than that. The world is watching. Every emotion, every glance, they will see it all." Yandy's lips tightened. She felt the pressure of being observed, judged, and dissected in real time. And yet she also felt a strange empowerment. This confrontation was hers, and she would not step away. Erica looked at her, eyes wide, finally sensing the magnitude of what had begun. I didn't know it would become like this," she admitted. "I never wanted this level of chaos." Yandy took a slow breath, her anger simmering but her mind sharp. "Chaos's been here long before the test. The test just revealed it. Now it's up to us to see it through." Mendeecees nodded slowly, realizing that nothing would be simple. There would be no easy resolution, no quiet walkaway moment. The walls around the truth had been broken down, and now the floodgates were open. The next moves they made would not just affect them, but the family, friends. Again, this time, the message preview was visible. "They know everything. Be careful." The words sent a chill through all three. The realization struck immediately. The DNA test was not the end. It was only the beginning. The storm had arrived fully, and there was no escaping the consequences that were about to follow. The room was filled with silence, but it was a loaded silence, the kind that carries tension like electricity. Every heartbeat echoed, every breath was measured, and every glance was a question with no answer. The confrontation that had begun with a single DNA result had now escalated into a network of secrets, lies, and warnings that none of them could ignore. The path ahead was unclear, but one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same. Yandy's hand trembled slightly as she reached for Mendeecees' arm, not in anger, but in need. She needed someone who understood the stakes. Mendeecees' eyes met hers, and for a brief moment, everything paused. Even Erica, standing a few feet away, felt the weight of their connection. The unspoken bond that complicated every accusation, every confession, every twist. The test had revealed more than paternity, it had exposed every fault line in their intertwined lives. And the consequences were just beginning to unfold. The friend watched silently, knowing they had set off a chain reaction that could not be stopped. They had simply delivered a spark, and now the fire raged on its own. Outside the room, the world continued as usual, unaware that a personal hurricane had erupted inside those walls. And yet, the fans online, the ones who had been waiting, were witnessing every second vicariously, every moment feeding into the growing frenzy that would dominate conversations for weeks to come. And as the three stood there, each processing the shock, the anger, and the fear, they all understood one undeniable truth. The DNA test was never just about biology. It had become a weapon, a mirror, and a magnifying glass, revealing everything they had hidden from each other and from the world. The confrontation was far from over, and the story, with all its twists and betrayals, was only beginning to take shape. The tension in the room didn't ease. If anything, it thickened, clinging to their skin like humidity before a storm. Yandy's gaze was unwavering, fixed on Erica, and the silence that followed the last message was heavy enough to press against their chests. Every second felt stretched, every heartbeat loud in the otherwise quiet studio. Mendeecees ran a hand over his face, trying to calm himself, but even he felt the surge of anticipation. The truth had come out in waves, but it was clear there were deeper currents he had yet to see. Then, Erica broke the silence, her voice shaking but defiant. "You think this is just about me, don't you? That all of this, Yandy, the anger, the accusations, it's about what I did or didn't do?" She paused, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "You don't see how complicated this has become. You don't see the people around you pulling strings, twisting stories, making everyone doubt each other. It's not just me, it's a network, a web, and I'm trapped in the middle of it." Her words landed like stones in the room, echoing off the walls. Yandy stepped forward, the fire in her eyes flaring. "Trapped," she repeated. "Erica, I've been trapped for years. Trapped in questions no one answered. Trapped in rumors. Trapped in every half-truth thrown my way. And now you tell me it's a web, a network. Maybe, but the starting point, the truth was in your hands, and you didn't give it. You let it fester." Her voice rose with each word, sharp, cutting, unrelenting. "Do you understand what that does to a person? To a family? To a man trying to hold it all together?" She glanced at Mendeecees, whose jaw was tight, eyes wide with the weight of the confrontation. Erica swallowed, her lips trembling. I didn't want it to come out like this. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I tried to survive, okay? I didn't ask for this." Her voice cracked. The room felt like it was on the edge of exploding. Yandy's shoulders stiffened. She had expected excuses, but not vulnerability. She wasn't sure whether to push harder or let it slip into a quiet confrontation. Her instincts screamed at her not to relent. Mendeecees stepped between them, raising his hands in a placating gesture. "Both of you, stop. Listen, we can't do this like this. If we keep shouting, if we keep blaming, we're just feeding the storm. I know the test is serious. I know it's a lot to process, but screaming at each other won't fix it." He looked at Yandy, his tone pleading, then at Erica, who seemed ready to retreat into herself. "We need to talk, not fight, not like this, please." Yandy shook her head, her hair falling across her face. "No, we talk, yes, but first, I need the truth. Everything you've hidden, everything you've ignored, everything you've let spin out of control. It's not just the DNA, Erica, it's the lies, the half-steps, the whispers. I need to hear it." She stepped closer, so close that Erica could feel the heat of her anger. The raw intensity that had built over months, now unleashed in full force. Erica's eyes darted around, looking for a way out, for someone to step in, for any possible escape. She took a deep breath and began, almost trembling, to recount details that had been buried for months. "Okay, first, there were calls, messages, people contacting me, asking questions about Mendeecees, about the child, about you. I tried to ignore it, but it kept coming. Then there were rumors, posted online, spun by people who wanted drama. And yes, I answered some of them. I clarified, I denied. I tried to protect myself and the child, but I didn't mean for it to get this big." Her words spilled out, each sentence revealing a new layer of manipulation and hidden tension. Yandy listened, her fists clenched at her sides. Every revelation felt like a punch to the chest. Each word a fresh reminder of how little control she had over what had already happened. Yet there was a strange clarity now, a sharp focus cutting through the haze of anger. She wanted more. She demanded more. And what else? Tell me the truth. Who else is involved? Who's been pulling strings behind my back while I was left guessing? Her tone was relentless, piercing through every attempt at excuse. Erica swallowed hard. "I don't know all of them. Some are friends, some are family, some are fans. Everyone thinks they know better than the rest, and they've all been giving advice, spreading opinions. I tried to shield you from it, Yandy. I tried to manage it. I thought I was helping, but maybe I was just adding to the chaos." She looked up, eyes glossy, pleading silently for understanding that might not come. Yandy's chest heaved as she absorbed the confession. Her mind raced, trying to piece together months of tension, whispered conversations, online speculation, private messages, and family drama. "Helping," she said, her voice tight. "This is what you call helping, letting it fester, letting everyone else manipulate, leaving me in the dark. That's not helping. That's betrayal. That's a full-on betrayal." "Erica." Her words were sharp, slicing through the air, and Erica flinched under the weight of them. Mendeecees' hands moved helplessly, as if he could physically hold the storm back. "Enough," he said quietly but firmly. "Enough pointing fingers. We all know mistakes have been made. We all know emotions are high. Yelling won't fix it. We need a plan. We need to decide how to move forward without destroying everything we've built, without hurting each other even more." He looked at Yandy, who shook her head, her anger unabated, then at Erica, who seemed suddenly fragile, the weight of confession heavy on her shoulders. The friend who had entered earlier stepped closer, adding more fuel to the fire, but also context. "This isn't just about the DNA, or the rumors," they said. "This is about power, influence, control. People have been testing loyalties, seeing who bends, who breaks, who speaks. And the result, it's exposed all of it. The moment of truth has arrived." Their voice was calm but carried an almost terrifying gravity. Yandy's eyes lit up with renewed intensity. She understood now that this confrontation was bigger than personal grievance. It was a reckoning. Erica's voice broke the silence again. "You think I've been cold? You think I've wanted this chaos? Do you know how it feels to be caught in a web you didn't create? Do you know the fear of making one wrong move and having your life and your family judged by strangers?" Her words echoed, and for a brief moment, the room stilled. Yandy's anger wavered slightly, though it did not vanish. It mixed with a complicated swirl of empathy, frustration, and the desire for truth. Then, in a sudden shift, Yandy leaned closer, her tone softer but still firm. "I get it, Erica. I understand fear. I understand mistakes. But the point is, hiding it, letting it grow, letting it spill into public whispers. This is why it exploded. This is why nothing is simple anymore. The DNA test is just the spark. The fire has been burning long before this. Her words hung in the room, resonating with everyone present. Mendeecees exhaled slowly, the storm still raging but now with a slightly clearer view of the path forward. And just as the tension seemed to reach a temporary plateau, Erica's phone buzzed again. This time, the message preview made her freeze. It was a photo, something she hadn't expected to share, showing a private conversation between someone Yandy trusted and someone Erica had been communicating with. The implication was immediate. The network of manipulation was deeper, closer, and more personal than any of them had realized. Yandy's eyes widened, and the room's energy shifted once more. Knowing that the revelations were far from an entirely new level, Mendeecees moved closer to Yandy, trying to shield her from what he feared would be another emotional strike. But Yandy wasn't backing down. She was determined to see the full picture, no matter how dangerous it might be. Erica hesitated, her fingers hovering over the screen, as if touching it could somehow undo the tension. She finally looked up, her eyes reflecting both guilt and fear. Someone sent me something. I don't know why, or what it really means, but her voice faltered. Yandy stepped closer, her expression a mixture of fury and curiosity. Don't start protecting yourself. Show me. Now, she demanded. Erica slowly handed over the phone, her hands trembling as Yandy's fingers brushed against hers while taking it. The room held its breath as Yandy opened the message. The content was shocking. It revealed private messages, screenshots, and even recordings that implicated people close to both Yandy and Erica in spreading misinformation, in planting doubts, and in manipulating situations to control perception. Names of friends, associates, even family members scrolled across the screen. It was clear that the confrontation they had been having was only the tip of the iceberg. The network of manipulation extended far beyond what anyone had anticipated. Yandy's jaw tightened, and her fingers clenched the phone as she processed the betrayal. So this is it, Yandy said, her voice trembling but sharp. This is why everything has been twisted. This is why I've been questioning myself, questioning you, questioning everyone. It wasn't just rumors. It was strategy, calculated. Someone wanted chaos, and we fell into the trap. Her eyes shot to Erica. Did you know any of this? She asked, her tone accusatory yet desperate for honesty. Erica shook her head vigorously. No. I swear, I didn't know. If I had, I would have stopped it. I never wanted anyone to hurt. This isn't me. Mendeecees ran a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply. We can't keep going in circles like this. We need a plan, a strategy to handle what's coming. This isn't just about emotions anymore. It's about control, perception, and the people trying to manipulate us. His voice was calm but urgent, trying to bring clarity to a situation spiraling out of control. Yandy's eyes remained fixed on Erica, and for a moment, the fire in her gaze softened into determination. She realized that knowing the truth was only the first step. The next step was deciding how to act. Suddenly, a knock at the door made them all jump. Everyone paused, hearts pounding. No one expected anyone else, yet the knock was deliberate, assertive. Someone was coming in, and their timing was suspicious. Mendeecees moved toward the door, but Yandy stopped him with a hand. Wait, let them come in. I want to see this person. I want to know who else is involved. Her voice was calm but lethal, filled with a confidence that made it clear she was ready to confront anything. The door opened slowly, and a familiar figure stepped inside. It was a mutual acquaintance known for their influence behind the scenes. Someone who had connections to nearly everyone in the drama-filled world surrounding them. Their presence alone demanded attention. They didn't speak immediately. Instead, they observed, taking in the expressions, the tension, and the unspoken questions. Then, finally, they spoke. I know what's happening, the newcomer said, voice low but commanding. And I know why you're all here, standing on the edge of chaos. But there's much more that hasn't been revealed. The DNA test was just a spark. The fire has been built long before that, and now it's roaring out of control. Yandy's eyes flashed. She stepped forward, demanding answers. What are you talking about? Tell me everything. Now, the newcomer moved closer, hands open in a gesture of peace, but their expression was serious. There are people who've been feeding lies, planting seeds of doubt. Some of them are close to you, some of them are far away, but the goal is the same: to fracture trust, to make you question each other, to make you doubt everything you thought you knew. The DNA test, just a tool, a catalyst. What you're feeling in betrayal, confusion, it was engineered. Their words sent chills through the room. Even Mendeecees, usually composed, felt a tremor of fear and disbelief. Erica's voice rose, defensive and frantic. So now you're saying I'm being used, manipulated. You think I'm part of some scheme? I've been honest. I've told the truth when it mattered. Her hands shook as she gestured wildly. Yandy remained still, absorbing every word, processing the implications. Erica, this isn't about blame right now. It's about understanding, knowing who's influencing us, why, and how to protect ourselves moving forward. We've been played, yes, but now we have a choice. The room's tension reached a fever pitch as the newcomer continued. There are recordings, conversations, and even direct interventions you don't know about. The people behind this have been watching, waiting, and manipulating. The DNA test revealed paternity, yes, but, more importantly, it exposed vulnerabilities they intended to exploit. You're all pawns unless you take control. Yandy's hands clenched at her sides, her jaw tight. She realized that this confrontation, which she had thought was personal, was part of a far larger scheme, and for the first time, fear mingled with resolve. Mendeecees stepped forward cautiously. So what do we do now? How do we stop this before it goes further? His voice was calm but carried urgency. Yandy looked between him and Erica, then back at the newcomer. We fight back, she said firmly. We take the truth, all of it, and we confront everyone involved. No more secrets, no more half-truths, no more manipulation. It's time the storm sees its match. Her voice echoed in the small room, a declaration of defiance. Erica's hands trembled as she nodded slowly. Okay, I'm in. We need to expose everything, not just protect ourselves. If this is a game, then it's time we play by our rules. Her voice gained strength with each word. The fear that had gripped her began to morph into determination. She realized that inaction had allowed the chaos to grow. Now, action was their only path forward. The newcomer's lips curved into a small, approving smile. Good, you understand, but be warned. Once the truth starts surfacing, there's no going back. People will react. Allies may turn. Enemies will strike. This is not just about the DNA test anymore. This is about power, trust, and survival. Their words hung in the air like a storm cloud, heavy and threatening. Yandy's eyes gleamed. She was ready. Just as they were preparing to take the next step, a loud buzz from the phone broke the momentary calm. It was another message, this time from an unknown number. The content was short but menacing. You're closer than you think. Watch your back. Yandy's expression hardened. Erica looked pale. Mendeecees exhaled slowly, realizing that the confrontation had escalated beyond their control, and the battle lines were now drawn in ways none of them had anticipated. The room fell silent, each person lost in thought, realizing that the DNA test had not just revealed paternity, had uncovered a labyrinth of secrets, betrayals, and schemes. The confrontation was far from over. The truth had opened a door, and once opened, there was no closing it. The storm was still raging, and now they had to decide how to navigate the chaos without losing themselves, or each other, in the process. And so, after everything that's happened, the revelations, the confrontations, the secrets finally surfacing, the storm is far from over. Yandy's fury, Erica's confessions, Mendeecees' attempts to mediate, and the unseen manipulations all weave together into a drama that none of us could have predicted. The DNA test may have confirmed paternity, but it also uncovered a tangled web of emotions, betrayals, and hidden agendas that stretch far beyond a single family or relationship. Every glance, every whispered conversation, every online comment has played its part in escalating a situation that was already volatile. Fans are shocked, the family is divided, and the social media frenzy shows no signs of slowing down. As we reflect on what unfolded, one thing is clear: the truth has power, and it can be both liberating and dangerous. The confessions revealed motivations, fears, and mistakes, while the messages and secret recordings revealed how far people will go to manipulate perception. The tension between Yandy and Erica is more than just personal conflict. It is emblematic of a larger pattern of control, influence, and the stakes involved when private lives collide with public scrutiny. Every emotion ran high, every accusation landed with weight, and the consequences of inaction or deception became painfully evident. Yet, even amidst the chaos, there is a strange clarity. The confrontation, though messy, has forced everyone to face truths they may have ignored, to acknowledge vulnerabilities, and to confront the manipulations that had shaped their lives. Yandy's determination to uncover every hidden detail, Erica's hesitant confession, from the outside have been captivated by every twist, every turn, and every emotional exchange. The online world has become a mirror reflecting the drama, speculation, and judgment, amplifying the intensity of what is already a high-stakes confrontation. Reactions range from support to outrage, from sympathy to disbelief, demonstrating just how powerful a single revelation can be when emotions, relationships, and public perception collide. The family was left divided, but the world cannot look away. Every detail is dissected, every motive questioned, and every decision debated, leaving no moment of the drama unexamined. So, what happens next? The answer remains uncertain. The DNA test has set the stage, the confrontations have exposed hidden truths, and the manipulations behind the scenes suggest that there are more surprises yet to come. Yandy, Erica, and Mendeecees must navigate the aftermath carefully, deciding who to trust, what to reveal, and how to protect themselves from further chaos. The storm has exposed weaknesses, but it has also revealed strength. The ability to confront lies, seek truth, and face the consequences head-on may be the key to surviving the fallout. And here is where you, the viewer, become part of the story. What do you think will happen next? Will Yandy and Erica find a way to reconcile? Or will the divisions deepen further? How will Mendeecees manage the fallout, both publicly and privately? Who else might emerge from the shadows, revealing secrets that could change everything? Your opinions matter, your perspectives are part of the conversation, and your engagement helps shape the way this story continues to unfold. Fans are already weighing in, debates are raging online, and the drama continues to evolve with every new detail. So here's what we want you to do. Comment below with your thoughts on the DNA test, the confrontations, and the secret Tell us who you think is handling the situation best, who has been wronged the most, and what you predict will happen in the next chapter of this ongoing saga. And don't stop there, make sure to like this video if you've been captivated by the drama, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist, revelation, an explosive moment that continues to shake this family and their world. Turn on notifications so you never miss a single update, because the next development could happen at any moment, and trust us, you won't want to miss it. The story doesn't end here. The tension, the secrets, the surprises, they're far from over. And by joining the conversation, by sharing your thoughts and theories, you're part of the unfolding drama, part of the audience that holds the power to keep the story alive. Every comment, every like, every share fuels the conversation, adds to the suspense, and keeps the drama front and center. So don't stay silent, make your voice heard. Join fans from around the world in dissecting every moment, analyzing every motive, and speculating on every twist. Yandy, Erica, and Mendeecees are navigating uncharted waters, and your insights, reactions, and predictions help shape how the public perceives each move. This is more than just entertainment, it's a social phenomenon, a real-time drama unfolding before our eyes. By engaging, you are not only witnessing history in the making but influencing it. Your participation matters. Fans are watching, opinions are shaping the narrative, and every perspective adds depth to the story that continues to captivate and shock. So once again, like the video if you've been drawn into the chaos. Comment with your predictions, subscribe to follow every revelation, and share this with friends who need to see the drama unfold. The DNA test may have revealed paternity, but it has also revealed the complexities, betrayals, and manipulations that make this story unforgettable. The truth has a power all its own, and by staying connected, you ensure that you don't miss a single moment of the suspense, the shock, and the emotions that continue to ripple through Erica and Mendeecees' lives. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and remember, every reaction counts, every opinion matters, and every moment of this story is part of the experience. The storm is ongoing, the revelations are unending, and the drama is far from over.